Alrighty guys, welcome back. This is your Jester. We're playing a brand new game to the channel here. Where's my box? Here's my box. This is of course Imperium Classic. There's also Imperium Legend, which we have. But I guess these are technically are the easier to play, easier to run, easier to manage civilizations. So we're going to be trying the Macedonians, and they're going to be going up against Persia. There is a really good rule book, I should mention, which, you don't see very good rule books very often. So when you see one, there's a nice little breakdown in the back of the rule booklet. In both of the games, it has all the information about all of the different factions, the different races. So it doesn't matter which one you get. You can look at all of them and decide, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Which is nice. It's not like this rule book is for this. When they released both of these games kind of at the same time. So the reason we chose the Macedonians is because they have a difficulty of 1 out of 5 stars. So they're probably very simple-ish to run. And the Persians are difficulty 1, and they were both in the classic game. So the classic game comes with Carthaginians, the Celts, the Greeks, the Macedonians, the Persians, the Romans, the Scythians, and the Vikings. And they go everywhere from 1 all the way up to 4 stars. There's 3 that are 1 star. There are 3 that are 2 star. There's 1 3 and 1 4. So again, tends to be a little bit easier, the classic, as opposed to the legend version. But I'm certainly not an expert at this game. This is my first try at this game at all. But I've watched quite a few playthroughs. Paul Rogan has a couple playthroughs of it. Stick of Drips has got a playthrough. Several other playthroughs on tutorials and stuff online. The game is not that complex. It looks complex but it's just getting over that. Oh, I see what you're doing there. You're trying to, so you got like this deck of cards, right? And you're managing your deck of cards, but then you're adding cards to it, and the faster you go through your deck, the more cards you get to go through it until you evolve from your barbarian state into your empire. So anyways, let's get into the table. I'll kind of explain a little bit about what I know. Again, not an expert. I'm just giving you my overview on what I think. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so here is our faction over here, and here's the bot faction here. All of this is kind of the bot faction. This is kind of the default setup up here, where you have your regions, you have your uncivilized cards, you have your civilized cards, and then you're going to have your, you have 6 in each of those piles, and then you're going to flip up a card over here. And then all the remaining cards from those decks go into a deck here. Along with the tributaries, you shuffle that up. And you put out 2 cards here. The AI has their faction. You can tell they're the faction. There's their faction card. And then they kind of do the same thing. They set up their faction with that. Then they have their deck of cards. And then they put 1 card out underneath each one of these territories. And you'll see how we operate the AI, which is very unique and interesting. There's actually, let's see if I can share it with you. There. We'll be using this. Maybe I can put it out of the way for a little bit. But there is, in the rule booklets, in the back of the solo rule book, you'll find all of their little charts for all of the different factions that you can play against and what they do. And all I did was take a screenshot of that and blow it up on the screen for you so you can see the Persians. And cool thing about it is they will actually evolve as well, just like your faction. So you can see most most of the factions, the nations, start in a barbaric state and then they evolve into an empire state and they change how they do things once they do that. We will do the same thing. But best real reason for us to do this is to kind of figure out what is all about our faction and what should we be focused on, what should we try to do. So here's a little Imperium Classic knowledge base on the Macedonians. Alright, so in the 4th century BC, they briefly became the largest empire in the world under the reign of Alexander the Great, stretching from Greece to India. As we stated in the rulebook, the Mayans, the Greeks, and the Macedonians all represent different and sometimes overlapping subgroups of ancient Greece. Leaders feature in most of the civilizations in Imperium, but they are most important to Macedonia. The first leader is Philip II, who unified Macedonia, and his card gives you the flexibility to acquire any card from the market. Depending on the card's availability, this can be a launch point for your entire strategy. The second leader is Alexander, who is your Ascension card. Marks you moving to become an empire. Playing Alexander allows you to break through for a tributary in a region and draw a card. As a hugely impactful historical character, he's the one person to be featured twice in a civilization deck. Once the first card is in your history, you can play Alexander the Great to acquire 2 regions, including cards that have been exiled from the market. The final leader is Parmarian, who was Alexander's strategist, military general, and Alexander's second in command. The Parmesan card allows you to acquire a region or a tributary and then immediately play it. As you see, all these leaders are focused on flexibility, expanding your empire, letting you collect high-scoring tributaries or the regions that are so useful to manage your deck and claim fame cards. The expansion of the Macedonian Empire would not have been possible without the Macedonian army, and these represented in 2 cards, the Phalanx and the Companion Cavalry. We want to give the Phalanx into play as early as it has a unique power, allowing you to play region cards directly from your discard pile, which works particularly well when combined with the Macedonian Power card on side A. The Companion Cavalry is an Empire development, and they allow you to continue to play your conquered cards, of which you have 2 copies, despite them having a barbaric icon, giving you another card that stays useful while hunting for high-scoring tributaries. There you go. So that is blah blah blah, and the rest of the information there. Alright, so that's kind of the overview of what we got. Now we're playing against Persia. As I mentioned, we'll hide this for now. We'll probably have to put this, put that there as we go through and run the bot AI, but we're not going to be running the bot AI. So again, this is the bot stuff. This is our faction. You start with your own special faction, and you can see we get victory points, 1 victory point per region. I think these are region cards. So there are green uncivilized cards. There's kind of this gray, which is civilized cards. You have tributary cards, which are kind of blue, and then you have these yellow cards, which are regions. And I think those are, you have the unrest cards. So you can see we will gain 1 victory point for every region. So we like regions. We want to expand out, get lots of different territories. These are our kind of our upgrades. You can see they're all blue cards. This means we have to be an empire to play them. Currently, we are a barbarian. You will notice we can only play barbarian cards, which are red. We don't have any of those, so I can't show you. On our turn, we have 3 actions that we can spend to do things, and then we have 5 of these, what do they call them? Yeah, those words. 5 of the, oh, what's the name of those things? I'm not sure what the name of those are, actually, now that I think about it. And they talk about tokens, but they don't name the token. I'm sure there's a name for it somewhere. What's the name of that token? Alright, so you have power, you have region. Oh, it's region is what the yellow ones are region. The green ones are uncivilized. The gray ones are civilized. The blue ones are tributary. The purple ones are fame. And the red ones are unrest. So there is your different ones. That's kind of important information. Alright. What's the name of that token? I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Does it matter what the name of it is? Maybe not for you guys, but it does for me. Cool thing is, like I said, good rule book because it breaks down each of the factions for you. Talks about what their strengths and weaknesses, how difficult they are to play. And then there is a huge index of all the words that might be like history, flooded, exile, passive, play, recall. You know, if you're trying to find out what do those words mean, you can look in the book here. They talk about the brown tokens. If you have no brown tokens, but it doesn't give me the name of it. Oh my God, why doesn't it give me the name of it? If you have 3 brown tokens, if you have 5 brown tokens. I'm sure it's probably in here somewhere. I just have to find what the name of it is. It's going to drive me crazy until I find it. I would think it'd be in setup, because it's part of setup, you would think. Exhaustion tokens and action tokens. There we go. So you have 3 action tokens, so you basically can do 3 actions on your turn, and then you have 5 exhaustion tokens. So it's things that don't take an action. You still have to spend a exhaustion token on. Our job is to go through our deck of cards, and then as we finish going through our deck of cards, we will then draw an extra card and add it to our deck and go through and draw it again. And once we get to Alexander and he comes into our deck, then we change from a barbaric state into an empire, and then we can start playing the blue cards. Okay. We have these, which are progress tokens, making progress with your civilization. Here's population, and then here is resources. So we will put those back so I don't mess them up. We will shuffle this deck up. And every civilization, I guess the main draw in this game, one of the main draws, is it plays great solo. It's designed by David Turtsey and Nigel Bickle and David Turtsey. 2 great guys. So that's number 1. They just released a brand new one called Imperium Horizons. It comes with like 12 new factions. It adds trade, but it is compatible with all these factions. I've got it on order, so when it gets here, it gets here. All right, so we got a barbarian here as the Persians, and we draw 5 cards. We shuffled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there we go. We're off and running. Look at us go. That's kind of your quick overview. Not that you're trying to become a Imperium expert, but we have unrest. We have Paglonia, which again is a region. We have the red guard, which is great because we're a barbarian, so we can play that. And we're probably going to be a barbarian for a long time. Unrest doesn't do anything. They're kind of jam up your deck. So if you can get rid of them, great. So let's see what we can do here. We can go and conquer a land. Choose to pay 2 population to acquire a region or a tributary. So if there's something out there that we want, that's basically the market. Or we can pay 3 to break through. We only have 2, but you can use this for resources if we wanted to. Oh, we actually have 2 conquerors. We have this one here, which allows us to gain a population, and we may garrison a card. And then we have this one here, which is gain a population and may garrison a card. So, we can gain population, that's good, and garrison cards. Let's see what we have out there. We got, there's a region, there's a region. This is an uncivilized land because it's got a green one on it. Even though it has a civilized, it's considered uncivilized. So during the solstice, we may discard a card to choose one to either gain a population or gain a resource or draw a card. Good way to cycle through our deck, actually. That's not bad. For this one here, which is a region, exile card from the market. You may garrison a card. That's not that great right early. This one is blue, so we can't obviously play this, but it would be really good if we got it eventually. It's a free play, which means it doesn't cost an action to play it. And you may put a card from your hand into your history, and you may put a card from your discard pile in your history. History is basically putting cards underneath your civilization. So as your civilization gets older and older, you're going to have cards under it that shows things happen during... this is a uncivilized card as well. Another free play. You're going to pay 1 resource and declare one of the following, either a civilized, uncivilized, region, or tributary. Reveal the top card of the main deck, which is... I'm assuming that one. If it matches the declared type, add it to your hand, otherwise exile it. And then finally, we have the jungle, gain 1 population, exile a card from your market, and then you may garrison a card. Garrison a card is basically taking a card that you have in your hand and putting it underneath that location. Which you're going to see here in a minute, because I'm probably going to do that. To break through. Alright, so we don't want any more. We're going to, so we're going to, for our first action, boom, we're going to play this first action. We're going to put down this Heliconian Valley. So we gain a population, boom. Oop, that's a 5. We gain a population, and then we can garrison a card. I don't think we're going to garrison anything. I don't think we need to at this point. We could garrison the unrest, but no, it's not that big deal. And then for our second action, we're going to do the same thing, basically, with Paglonia. We get another population, and then we can garrison a card. No, we're not going to. So we've taken over these territories. They're in play. And for our third and final action, I think we're going to conquer So we can either pay 2 or we can pay 3. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to pay 3 because we're going to break through. And break through allows you to, if there's not one of these locations, right now we're looking for a tributary. There isn't one. So we go to the top of the deck, which we have shuffled, but I will shuffle it again just to show you guys. And then we flip up a card until we get to a tributary. No, no. There, we got one. All right. And then these get put back in the deck and we just shuffle it up. Now, unlike other deck builders, when you purchase a card, it goes directly into your hand. And there we go. Boom. So we got the Ionians. It's a free play card. Return up to 2 unrest from your hand or discard pile. Put this card into your history. Okay, so that's a good way for us to get rid of a lot of unrest, which is nice. So, we've used our 3 actions. Our turn is done. Now, we can discard as many cards as we want. And I think what we're going to do is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 cards. So it's going to be a couple turns before we go through our deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep the Ionians. And we'll draw. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully we'll have another unrest. We do. Yay. All right. And we'll use this guy as a free play next turn. Then we got Philip II. We have an advanced card. And we have the Phalanx. All right. So that's the end of our turn. We did our 3 actions. We got resources. We spent resources. We got some territories into play. This goes in our discard pile after we play it. Only cards that have the infinity symbol stay in play. All right. So, AI, simply what we do with the AI is we're going to bring up this little chart. We'll roll the dice. Whatever number we roll, that's the number it goes to. If we roll, say, a 2, it goes on the 2. And he plays all the other cards except for that card. So let's see what we got. We're playing against the Persians. So I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's see what we get. We rolled a 2. So it goes there. So we play this card here. This is unrest. When the AI gets unrest, they simply put it back in the pile. Then they play this card here. Oh, wait. Before we actually start this, before we actually start their turn, at the end of our turn, we take a progress marker and we put it on one of the areas out there. This can be important because you can't X out cards that have a marker on them, a token, any kind of token on them. So if we want to make sure like the AI can't get rid of that card, we can put that on there. But it also makes it more valuable, so the AI might want to get it. So it's kind of a press your luck kind of mechanism. But we do like regions, so I'm going to put this on the jungle region, and hopefully he won't take the jungle. He normally takes things left or right anyways, but anyways. So now that's the end of our turn. Got to remember to do that. AI, boom, unrest, done. Next, he is doing this one, which is going to be a conquer. It's a red one. So if able, he's going to spend 3 to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. Nope, you can't do that. He doesn't have any resources. I don't think they start with any resources. I think if you start in a lower or an easier, I think if you start in an easier mode, they start with resources, but I don't think they start. Yeah, it doesn't start. Here's a picture of it, and you see there's no. He doesn't have any resources, so I don't think they start with resources. Unless you play on lower difficulty, then I think they do. But anyways, so if able, you spend 3 to break through and put blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, spend 2, which he can't otherwise gain 1. So he's going to gain 1. He's going to gain 1. And 1. So he's going to gain 1 of each. And then he's going to put this card on top of his deck. So here's his draw deck. I'm going to slide that over a little bit so I don't get too confused. Card 4 is a... Ooh, let's see. It's a region card. So he's going to gain a population. Gain a population. And then play this region. So we'll put his down here. And then exiles a card from the market. So again, he's just going to exile the leftmost card. So that's going to be this guy right there. Exile is going to go right here. Next to the little exile marker. So these are out of the game. And we draw a new one. And it's this one. It is a civilized. So anytime you get a civilized, an uncivilized, or a tributary, you put an unrest under it. We got coinage. This sounds good. Exhaust to draw a card. And Solace. Oh, wow. We definitely would like to get that one. That's for sure. But again, it's a blue card. So that's not great. Until you can get to the Empire stage. And then exile a card from the market, which we did. Okay. And then he's got another unrest, which goes up there. Now he's done. What he does is he takes one of the progress tokens. He puts it wherever he rolled. This card then slides over, and then he refills with his cards. And he's got a couple cards left before he will start advancing through his extra cards. All right, so that's one full turn in the books. Cha-ching. I think we did it all pretty correctly. And it's now our turn. So, all right, so this is worth 3 victory points. And it's a free play card, so it doesn't cost us any actions. Return up to 2 unrest from your hand or discard pile. So we're going to do that. We're going to, right here, and from our discard pile. There we go. It thins our deck, so it's easier to get through. We get rid of that. And then this guy goes into our history, which means he's basically out of our deck, but at the end we still score his points. He's worth 3 victory points. 3 for us. Plus, again, we didn't mention this, but each one of these unrest is minus 2 victory points. So we added 3 good ones, and we got rid of 4 bad ones, so that's a 7-point victory hand. All right, we still have our 3 actions. Oh, I would really like that coinage if I could. But we're not going to be able to play it for a little while. Let's see what this one does. Exhaust. Play a card. Play it from your discard pile. Spending an action is normal. And this, choose one. Pay 3 to acquire. Unfortunately for us, which is very weird situation we have going on right now, is we have normally these blue ones don't come out until later on. But we have a blue one here and a blue one here, so we can't play these till we get to Empire. And just so you know, we're going to go through our deck 3 times, and then the 4th time we go through it, after we're done going through our deck 4th time, then we can add this guy in, and when we do that, that's when we become an Empire. So, you know, it's probably going to be a few turns before we can do that. It's not like, so, here it just lets us get something, which is great, but there's nothing for us to really get right now. I should mention there's a in between after the bot's turn. There's a solstice turn. But we don't have anything that does anything with the solstice, and the AI doesn't. So we just kind of ignored that. I mean, we can acquire some cards, but man, now we can break through, which means if you don't like something in the market, you can just draw from the deck, which we might have to do if we can get some resources. Problem is, we don't have any resources. We don't have... Getting these resources would be so good. Getting that would be so nice, but it's just out of our hand. I mean, we can set it up for later, which would be great, but what do we need to acquire? And the one free card, or the one card here, is not very good. And we need to pay 5 resources to break through, and... So that was a free play to play him, so we still have 3 actions. I would say... I really like that coinage card, even though we're not going to be able to play it for a while. Oh, he wouldn't let us get a territory as well. Alright, yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to play first action. We're going to play Philip, and we're going to get this because there's a token on it. We might as well. And it's the jungle. Thanks, Philip. And then he goes into put this card in your history, so he's going to be worth no victory points. Great. But he did his job, and now he's dead. So, good for him. That was number 1. Number 2, we're going to play this card. We can gain a population. We like that. And then exile a card from the market. Oops. Got to put a new one back there. Exile a card from the market, which I think we're going to exile gambling. Let's get rid of gambling. It's not, I don't like that card, so let's get rid of it. I'm going to replace it with the Cine. And during a solstice, you may discard a card to choose to either gain a population, gain a resource, or draw a card. Okay. So, gain a thing, exile a card from the market, and we can garrison something. No, I don't think so. So it was our second action. We got one more action. We're gonna, yeah, okay. We're gonna advance, and we're gonna spend 3 population. We're gonna acquire this new city. Unfortunately, it's gonna come with an unrest. What are we gonna do? Nothing. There's nothing we can do about it. They all come with unrest. Here's agriculture. Exhaust. Treat each grain as 3 something for the rest of your turn. Well, okay. Alright, so that was our third action. So now we can keep any cards that we want. And we have 2 cards remaining, so as long as I don't keep more than 2 cards, we'll be able to cycle through our deck a little faster. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this city. And that's all we're going to do. So we're going to draw 1, 2. Oh, we don't have enough. So what we have to do is we take, again, this has been shuffled, but we will, we only have 3 cards. 3 civilization cards that we need to go through, and they're slightly better than our starting cards. And we got 1, and we put it in our discard pile. We got glory. And then what we're going to do is shuffle up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only got 9 cards total, so should be able to go through our deck about every turn and a half, 2 turns. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is our hand. We got 2 unrest. We got Oritus. Gain 2 resources and garrison a card. We got the Conqueror, we got the City, and 2 unrest. Alright. AI, what is it going to do? It is not going to choose. Oh, 6. That's bad. That means it does all of them. Well. Alright, so it does the red one. If able, can he spend 3? No. Can he spend 2? No. So he's going to gain 1 and 1. And then he's going to put this card back on top of his deck. And put his card back on top of the deck. Number 2. Exact same thing, but this time he does have 3. He's going to get 3. He's going to spend the 3. And he's going to get a tributary, which there isn't any out here. So he's going to look through the top of the deck. No. No. And they are the blue ones. Alright. And then this goes in his history, so he puts that there. And this goes into his discard pile. As he... I think he actually puts it on top of his deck, now that I think about it. Alright. Prosperity. Discard the top card of the box. Oh, he's just discarding the one that he just got. That's too bad for him. And then he's going to gain 1 and 1. He has 1 in play. And then I can draw a card. Yes, I will draw a card. Thank you. Anything in bold blue letter, or you can't see. Anything in bold black letters is for you, the player. So I can draw a card. So he discards the top card of the bot deck. He's going to gain a resource, a population for each one of his regions in play. And then I get to draw a card. And then this card goes into his discard pile. Next up. He has a red one. Can he spend 3? No. Can he spend 2? Yes, he can. And he's going to try to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. So, civilized and uncivilized cards are... This one is worth 2. This one is worth 3. This one is a star one, which gives him 5. So he's going to he's going to actually acquire this one right here. And acquire is going on top of his deck. Then this. I'm not sure if this card goes into his history or... It says, if able, spend 3 to break through and get a tributary and put this card into history. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 to acquire... So I think this is going to go into his history. I could be wrong. That could make a big difference in how things play out, too. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 and acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. And again, he always acquires... the most victory points. But I think it's following that, if able, spend 3 to break through and put this card into history. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 to acquire blah blah blah. But it doesn't say to then put the card in history. I'm assuming it does. It means the same thing. I don't know. And then last but not least, he has, if able, acquire. Let's see, wait a minute. This is it's a region card first. So he's going to play it as a region, actually. So he gets this. Gain a population. And then play this card. And exile a card from the market. That will be the coinage. And we got an urban development. And another. All right, and since he put a 6 down, he doesn't put anything else down. And he's got 5 cards, so he won't get a new card until he needs to draw one. So that's our second turn through the game. Through the run. Here we go. Woo! Hey, what's going on, Tim? All right, our turn here. What do we got here? Got a couple conquerors. We got our city. To acquire, what can we acquire that's decent? Oh, I forgot to put out my stupid progress token from last time, didn't I? At the end of the turn. It's too late now. I can't undo that. Urban development. Again, we can't play it until we turn into an empire, which is going to be a little while. All right, first action. Oops, we got our actions back. First action. We're going to play Oritus. We're going to gain 2 resources. And then we can garrison a card. No, I don't think we are going to garrison anything. Second thing is we're going to put out the city. And it has again, the special ability during the solstice. So from now on, we're going to have to remember the solstice turn. Things have been a bit hectic, but still chilling a bit now. Okay, good. That's our second action. We have one more action, which is these aren't going to do anything. So it's either conquer or nothing. So I guess it's going to be conquering. And we're going to have to spend 2 population. Spend 2 population to acquire a region. What's this region? This one looks good. Sacred Bass. Exhaust. You may look at the top card of your nation's deck. You may then abandon this card to swap a card from your hand with the top of your nation's deck. You may look at the top card of your nation's deck. You may then abandon this card to swap a card from your hand with the top of your nation's deck. It's either this one or that one. I think I'm going to actually go after the Oasis because it's got a victory point marker on it. So we'll get that. We'll get a new card there, which is the Pharmacy. Another blue one. Good Lord. Alright, that was our 3 actions. So at the end of our turn, we are just going to discard everything because I don't need any of these, I think. And we can draw. 1, 2, 3. Hey, we got another card. Boom, boom, boom. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's our... Oh, wait a minute. This should have been in there as well. Okay, get our actions back. Our turn is done. We got 4 territories and a city out there now. Remember, the city's got a special ability, so hopefully. Alright. Oh, at the end of our turn, let's try not to forget. Blue, 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 red, red. So, free play, drop 2 cards and discard one of them. Actually, we're getting through this pretty quickly. We're going to be blue quicker than I think. We will... There's a hut. We're gonna get the urban development maybe. All right, let's see what he does. Let's see what the AI does. 4. So he's not gonna do that one. Let's see what he does. He's gonna put this back there. He is going to do a green is not on his list. If able, acquire. I think he's going to do the infinity symbol. So that is, again, if you're following along, there's a little chart. It's not that. It's not glory. It's not tributary. It's not a red card. It's not a yellow card. It's a infinity symbol. So if able, acquire. So he will acquire this, which goes on the top of his deck. And then put this card into his history. Okay. Next. Red. Can he spend 3? No. Can he spend 2? He can spend 2. He's going to try to acquire a most expensive. That's a star one. He's going to go after the. Oh no, he's going to take my victory point I just put out there. So he's going to acquire this because it's a star one for the AI. Stars are 5 victory points. So this is 5 plus the 1, so it's actually 6 victory points for him. Yeah. And we're going to get this one. They're mini. Oh, wait. And we're going to get one of these. All right. And then this is going to go into his history, I think. And then number 5. Uh-oh, glory. Abandoned 3 territory. He doesn't have 3. Otherwise, breakthrough for... He's going to get this. Put this on top of his deck. And this is going to get discarded. And this will go here. This slides over. Then he is going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, he still hasn't got through his deck yet. Wow, that's a shame. That's really a shame. He keeps acquiring all these cards. That's a problem. All right, we're going to be eating so just for a minute, so I think it's time to go ahead and call this an episode. We'll be back for part 2 after dinner tonight. So thanks, everyone. So far, very interesting play. Very interesting on what to do, and a lot of interactions going on, a lot of tough decisions. If you like that, you might like this game. I love my civilization building games. So this is just another one. Like Nations, Through the Ages. It's just a different way, and it has a great solo mode by David Turtsey and Nigel Bickle. And yeah, we'll see everyone for part 2. Thanks for coming by. Take care. We'll see you all next time. Bye for now.